What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Radar Podcast, episode number 8 here on Ram Nation Radio and live on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, whether it's on the Ram Nation Radio app or not on Facebook Live this week, hence why we're doing it live on YouTube. So come hang and tweet out some links. So anybody who's watching right now, leave some comments. We'll get to them. Episode number 8, like I said, it's pretty crazy how many episodes we've done already. If you don't know by now, I'm your host, Ryan Monterano, and that's Nick Monterano. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing good. Kind of a slow week, though. It's funny. We always talk about how there's always something going on in the world of wrestling, but not this week. It's kind of slow.
Yeah, a little slow, which is kind of unusual for the world of pro wrestling, like you said, because there's always stuff going on. But we've got you covered. We've got plenty of stuff to dive into. Shorter show than usual today, but that makes it even easier on us if it's a slow week. But before we begin the show, like always, just want to remind everybody to follow us on Instagram and on Twitter at The Wrestle Radar. Make sure to keep up with all of our tweets and pictures and posts and everything that we do on there. And also, if you're not subscribed yet to The Wrestling Radar, please do so. The Wrestling Radar on YouTube. Got some pretty cool stuff coming up. Nick just dropped a new video this past week about the Black Friday unboxing from Pro Wrestling Tees. So go check that out, as well as our day in the life of meeting Becky Lynch, the man, this Friday at I Play America in Jersey. And then, of course, next week, Ring of Honor, Final Battle in New York City. The year-end tradition for us here in New York City.
It's going to be 3 years in a row now for us. Well, at least 3 years for me. I think was it 4 for you?
Well, not in a row, but it will be 4 Final Battles in general, because I did not go 2015, I think it was, but...
Yeah, all I know is it's my 3rd straight Final Battle, and then my first Final Battle was when Cody made his debut, actually against Jay Lethal. Man, he's matching up in the main event on Friday, in 2 weeks, so
yes,
should be a good show.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll dive right into that in a little bit as well, and some of the card if we have time and we don't run out of things to say. So let's just dive into Monday Night Raw. I mean, we're not going to spend too much time talking about the show, but we're going to talk about how bad it continuously is. It's pathetic. It really is how bad this show is week after week. And you think coming off of a bad week last week, you would think that they would rebound and have a good Raw this week, right? I mean, you would just think.
Yeah, but clearly not the case. Because,
definitely not the case.
I mean, again, I'm not gonna lie to everyone here. I really did not have it on for the whole time. I maybe tuned in once or twice kind of to check it out, but there's just nothing. I mean, and constantly on Twitter, every now and then when a show is bad, you'll get 1 or 2 people commenting about how bad it is, but there is not one positive thing people are tweeting about this show.
No.
Every single person has the same opinion on it, that it is garbage. It's straight garbage. I mean, 3 hours of meaningless television.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I don't want to dive too much into the show, because I didn't watch either, Nick. I mean, this show had the lowest ratings in the company's history, and I could not have been any happier to see that when the news broke about how low the ratings are, and I'm glad we could contribute to that, because we did not watch it on Monday at all. I did not put it on once throughout the night. We were doing other things, but even if we weren't, I don't think I would have gone for it. I mean, you're an Eagles fan. They had a game against the Redskins on Monday night, so you were too busy with that. But even if you weren't into the football game, you could find something else on TV that's probably way more worth your time than the 3 hours of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's the point, like you said, you don't even feel like you're wasting your time if you turn it on. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a million things I'd rather be doing, especially now around the holiday time. There's things to do at night, places to go. So obviously, sitting home watching Monday Night Raw is probably the last thing I'd want to do on a Monday night, which sucks because at one time, like we said in previous podcasts, Mondays were the night. Monday Night Raw, we get excited for it, it'd be great to watch. But now it's just it's garbage. I don't even look forward to it anymore.
It's not a part of my Monday nights anymore, and it's sad to say because, like you said, it used to be a staple. You would look forward to Mondays for Raw. Mondays would be, that would be the best thing about Mondays because, everybody dreads Mondays, start of the work week and everything, go back to school, back to work, whatever. And it's just, Monday Night Raw was something to look forward to at night. It's not anymore. But again, without even needing to see it, I read all the results. I could see it all throughout my Twitter timeline. Basically, Nick, we got the same exact show that we've gotten week after week. We got Finn Balor versus Jinder Mahal again. The Revival versus the Lucha House Party again. Same exact thing. We had another sit-down segment with Bayley and Sasha Banks. I mean, literally, Nick, the same things we have literally seen just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. It's the same thing. They don't even try and make it different. They literally just give you the same thing and switch up maybe one thing here and there. I mean, it's pathetic.
It really is. Like I said, it's just copy and paste every single week, and it's what we've been getting for the past couple of weeks. It's not even like anything new that they're giving us the same show, just maybe modified a little bit. I mean, they changed it up a little bit this week because we didn't start the show with Baron Corbin coming out,
Right.
Briefing us on what's going to happen on Raw. But even still, I mean, it's just. Like I said, it's just repetitive.
It's terrible. It's absolutely pathetic and terrible. And it's like Vince McMahon took the script from last week. I don't even know if he threw it in the trash, but if he did, he's probably trying to take the creases out of it and say, well, this is another Monday. We could use the same script, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to keep this the same. Maybe change this. We'll keep these 3 segments the same as last week because I think it'll be good. It's basically what he does, and it's pathetic. It really is. And guess what? I don't see a change. If last week's show, how bad it was, if it didn't make this week's episode better, then Nick, this product is doomed right now. I mean, there's just no saving it. This year cannot end soon enough.
And and they say constantly, we listen to the fans. We're listening. It just shows that they're not. I mean, at some point they gotta stop insulting our intelligence, and they're not listening to us because clearly, after last week's show, the amount of backlash on Twitter, people's podcasts they've gotten. They would have made changes. You would have seen a notable change. Even if it wasn't a huge change, you would have seen some kind of change after last week. And we didn't see anything. So clearly, they see that everyone's upset. They have to see the comments. You go to let's go to W's Instagram right now and click any post and go in the comments. People are ripping the show apart. They have to see that. Someone has to be looking at those comments.
And I would think, but
just to do nothing, not to act on it, it's ridiculous.
I know, it really is. And like I said, they just don't care enough to make any changes. I mean, they're getting a ton of money. They got new deals for SmackDown on Fox. And, again, they're just making a ton of money. So why would they change the product? That's exactly their mindset. They don't care about the fans.
You think that getting all these big lucrative deals from, like Fox, the billion, not even millions, billions of dollars from Fox, you think that would change them? Maybe be and you think Fox would look at this and be like, "What is this?" I know Raw is not the show that they, purchased the television rights for, but
yeah.
I mean, just they'd have to look at this and be like, "That's not what's going to happen when we take over, right?" I don't know. It's just something's got to change.
Something's got to change. Something hopefully will change. I don't expect it to change, but like I said, this year cannot come to an end soon enough because it has been an awful year for WWE television and specifically Monday Night Raw. I'm not even talking about the pay-per-views. I'm not talking about the matches. I'm talking about Monday Night Raw has been the worst I think I have ever seen it in all of my years of watching wrestling. Honestly, it just literally has hit rock bottom, and we'll leave it at that, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more to really say on it. I guarantee we'll be back here next week talking about the same thing. Hell, give the same episode of Raw that we saw this week. So.
Exactly. So boycott Raw is in full effect, but not the same for SmackDown, as SmackDown continues week after week to give us a pretty good show.
Yeah, decent show. Like last night's show, there wasn't that much event and stuff going on, but it's not enough to complain about. It's really nothing to complain about. So it wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's not amazing, but it's a way better than what Raw's giving you, and you appreciate that, and it makes you interested in and invested in what's going on in there. I mean, they got a bunch of great talent. It's 2 hours. They move stories completely all the time. I mean, everything is meaningful, and even if it's not, it's not as bad as something we would see on Raw, like Drake Maverick pissing his pants, but like the opening segment, for example, how good was that? You have Paige come out for a contract signing. You have Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky Lynch in the ring. And the trash talk was brilliant. It was great. It was just very well done.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell that, obviously Charlotte and Becky are 2 amazing wrestlers, and now Asuka in the mix, who I felt, hopefully not just using her kind of as as the bait just to take the pin. hopefully they're really,
There's no pin. There's no
I
pin. If you
keep
saw,
saying pin, yeah.
if you saw the title above the ring, that tells you right there. Because I know there was a lot of controversy. We talked about it a little bit last week. If this match would be pinfall or would the title be hanging? It's hanging because it was hanging during the segment.
So let me like rephrase that. Maybe using her as a way of like having Becky completely out of the situation when Charlotte takes the title off the hook, have maybe Asuka be the one that gets pushed off the ladder, kind of protecting her. I hope that that's not just the role they're using her, and then after this match, all right, bye-bye Asuka. I mean, I hope that this is, maybe it's maybe a little bit of a push for Asuka, who really does deserve it.
I think Asuka's winning the belt here. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into predictions next week, but they put her in this match for a reason, Nick, and I think they put her in this match just so Becky loses the title, so she could go on and win the Royal Rumble and go to Raw. And then somehow, some way, Charlotte will be not the champion, maybe out of the title picture, and migrate her way to Raw, because I really think that at WrestleMania, it's going to be a triple threat. Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. Yeah, I can't see them just doing...
It has to be.
Because, and if not, it's Becky and Ronda, and we're getting a rematch of Charlotte and Asuka again. But I don't think so, because next week on SmackDown, we're getting Charlotte and Asuka, a rematch from WrestleMania 34. So I don't know if they would...
You have to imagine that Asuka is going to be champion and take that belt into Mania, because I don't see any other woman right now on the SmackDown roster. If the Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda rumors are true, I don't see anybody else in the SmackDown women's roster taking that belt and holding it till Mania.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, there's a money program to be had with Becky and Ronda. And there's still money to be made with Charlotte and Ronda. So I think, why not put all three of them together in the first ever women's WrestleMania main event? I think there's those three women would kill it, and that is a big blockbuster main event. So having Asuka in that match, I think, takes the title off of Becky, gets Charlotte out of the title picture because she won't be the champion, and Asuka can be SmackDown Women's Champ, and that division can move on to, other competitors, other than Charlotte and Becky. And they go to Raw, and then I'm sure after WrestleMania they'll do a trade. I'd like to see Sasha and Bayley go to SmackDown. Just, you got to spice things up a little bit. You got to refresh things, because we've seen the same rosters for far too long, and it's getting a little stale. Especially if you want to put Becky and Charlotte over to Raw, you gotta bring SmackDown at least two other women. Sasha and Bayley would be my picks.
And I really hope that by the time that you put Becky and Charlotte on Raw, that things have changed there, and we can actually look forward to watching them on Monday nights, because right now, the women's division on Raw is terrible.
Well, they got to balance out when they do the Superstar Shakeup. They have to balance the rosters out better, because we knew right off the bat when the Superstar Shakeup happened, in May or April? It happened after Mania. And the way they stacked the SmackDown roster compared to the Raw one, you knew right then and there. You were like, oh my God, what are they thinking? This is the flagship show. Why are they stacking SmackDown so high? And I guess in their eyes, they thought they did a good job building Raw, but that's where it all went downhill. That is the moment where Raw was doomed and set up to fail. So we'll see what happens. I mean, they just have to balance out the rosters, and they have enough talent to do that. They just have to do it correctly. I could probably give you a well-balanced, two separate rosters. I legitimately could. But I just don't know if they will do that, especially, too, with SmackDown moving to Fox in 2019. I have a feeling the brand split could be gone by then.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I've even heard rumors that they're even pushing more to more of a brand split, where having their own writers for Raw and SmackDown, having their own production teams for Raw and SmackDown, almost like back in the day of having a real and actual split between Raw and SmackDown. But so I don't see that happening, but I definitely do think that there does need to be another draft, another shake up, whatever they want to do. I say bring back the draft, but yeah, because you definitely got to even out some of those rosters. Definitely.
I think that's the key to success for both shows. So, yeah, outside the opening segment, the rest of SmackDown I thought was pretty good, too. Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose love each other again. I feel like they're the new Sasha Bayley storyline, where they hate each other, they love each other, they hate each other, and they love each other. I don't know. It's terrible. It really is. It's just, the thing is, there's just no storyline, there's just no, they start something, right? Mm-hmm. And they just don't finish it. Yeah, it's like they start it's like they change their mind. Yeah, and they change their minds halfway and think that we're stupid enough to not realize it, and then just, go a completely opposite way with it. Yeah. I don't know what the point of Mandy Rose eliminating Sonya Deville at Evolution was, and then have them hate each other and I mean, they just gave us no explanation. I mean, did I miss something in the opening segment? Like, they did not give any explanation, right?
No.
Like I rewatched SmackDown very quickly because I did not get to watch it live. I was at work, but there was no explanation to it. Similar to the Drew McIntyre Dolph Ziggler thing, Nick. They literally just broke them up, and now they're fighting. Now they hate each other, but like they're really it was just out of the blue. Like, there's no reason. Like, you have to slowly do these things. I mean, again, there's no off season with this. You don't need to rush every little thing. And I mean, hey, I love Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose together. I do. I can't say that I don't. It's just that I thought we were going to see them break apart and be singles competitors, and now we see them together again with no explanation. It's just kind of weird. And, you know, pro wrestling should not be that way. You got to tell stories, and you got to either finish one or follow up on it, you know?
Yeah.
And they just didn't do that. So what happened on SmackDown then? You got Daniel Bryan and The Miz with The Miz TV. I thought that was a pretty good segment.
It's a good segment. I don't see. Are you digging the? I'm just saying. Obviously, I love heel Daniel Bryan, but are you digging this version of a heel Daniel Bryan? Kind of like the weird like. I don't know, like wearing this like college professor like sweater he wears, talking about the environment. It's just a very odd character to me.
It's odd, but I kind of like it. I do, and this is something that was much needed for a guy like Daniel Bryan. I am happy that the Yes Movement is gone and dead because it got stale, Nick. That it's not 2014 anymore. I mean, that will always go down in history as one of the greatest gimmicks ever. And that got Daniel Bryan to the top. It got the fans behind him. It got him to become world champion. But it's long gone now. It's been years. I mean, he retired. He came back from retirement. He needed to reinvent himself. He needed something different. And, the only way to reinvent yourself is to go from a babyface to a heel or a heel to a babyface. It really is. And he was in a position where he was a white-hot babyface. And then when he came back, he kind of didn't jump into the title picture. Hasn't really been doing anything. So he's kind of been, just there, feuding with Big Cass, doing nothing really.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said, dropping the Yes Movement was big. It was good for him. Taking the side plates off the belt was really good. But I don't know. I just think that he could do more if he was a like a heat seeker as a heel. I just think talking about the environment, how we're we're ruining the earth and climate change. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I mean that's the type of guy he is. Like that's real life stuff.
Yeah, I mean
that's how he feels.
Probably doesn't even need any type of script because he probably knows what he's talking about. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I don't think talking about the environment and how bad things are for you and all that kind of stuff. That's not really a heel move because if he wants to preach that, that's good. That's why I don't understand. That's not a heel move, and neither is CM Punk when he, the whole thing with Jeff Hardy, the whole feud about how he was trying to be straight edge, but he was a heel. It was just that's not a heel move. That's something good that you should encourage somebody. So that should be a face kind of thing. If you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, that's just who he is. That's real, as real as it gets. And it's weird to see Daniel Bryan as a heel, Nick, because I know he started out as a heel, but that was before the fans even got behind him. That was before.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been his like NXT, like the reality show NXT days, kind of. But
yeah. Well, that was before he lost to Sheamus in 10 seconds at WrestleMania 28, and that was after that he just skyrocketed. But I don't really remember him too much as a heel. I mean, I do, but he wasn't nearly as popular as he was, a couple of years ago. So it's weird seeing this, and but I like it. I really do. I think it's much needed for him, and I think he continues to show why he's the best in the game because he keeps reinventing himself, similar to what Matt Hardy did with the broken gimmick. So it's great to see, great stuff, and him and The Miz continue their tension and. It's kind of weird to see Miz as a baby face, and after AJ came out and Daniel Bryan got out of the ring and the Miz gave him a skull crushing finale, is Miz a face or a heel now? It's weird.
I think the Miz is a face, and I mean, like I said, it's weird to see, but he's gonna do it. But he plays it off well, the Miz. I mean, he's like I said, he's the next top guy, I think, in this company. Especially, I think he could be the top guy of a show. Just say they do another split. And you send a couple of big name guys over to Raw, send AJ over to Raw, maybe send Samoa Joe over to Raw. I think the Miz, even though the Miz has been been a SmackDown guy pretty much since the first draft in 2016, he can be that guy, the top guy. And honestly, I hope and I can see him winning the WWE title at WrestleMania.
I was just gonna say that. I think Daniel Bryan and the Miz is a WrestleMania worthy match for the WWE title, and I would like to see The Miz win. I would, because he needs some redemption. I did not dig his first run as WWE champion, but he's accomplished so much since then.
And then and even his main event at WrestleMania 27 wasn't good, because really they used that match kind of to promote and set up the John Cena versus The Rock next year.
Yeah.
Having they both got counted out, and having The Rock come out and hit John. It was a mess. It really was.
Yeah, it's it wasn't really good for The Miz to be in that position. That was a mess of a main event, a mess of a WrestleMania in my opinion, but that's a discussion for a different time. But The Miz is ready this time, and I do like where they're going with this. I do like how he's kind of the focal point now. He's a main star. He had a good match with AJ last night too.
Wouldn't it be funny too how WrestleMania 29, The Miz on the pre-show against Wade Barrett, and then a couple years later they come back, and now he could potentially be winning the WWE title. I mean, it's a great story for him.
It is, but it's a long ways away from WrestleMania, so a lot
which is hard, because how are they going to get? Because they're doing that. I guess they're kind of doing the Miz and Daniel Bryan thing right now. How are they going to stretch that till April?
So I'm saying, I don't think people realize how far away Mania actually is. A lot can change. A lot of variables can change.
Because even though the Royal Rumble is technically the start to the road to WrestleMania, it's a long road. It really is.
Yeah, of course. And I could see, a triple threat at the Royal Rumble between those three, AJ, Miz and Bryan for the title. Yeah, and then, it kind of makes, once we've seen, Daniel Bryan and The Miz, we have seen that match a bunch of times already. And, if we see more interactions between them, in a triple threat match, it kind of takes away, the special feeling of having them in a one-on-one at WrestleMania. If they've never faced off yet, which that's why I don't know why they rushed it at SummerSlam and when they did, because it makes it a little bit less special now if it were to happen at WrestleMania. But that doesn't mean they still won't do it. They still could, and I would still dig it, because again, it's the story that gets people behind a certain match, not how many times we've seen it. So who knows? It's a long ways away, like I said. Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton had another match. This is the 98th time we've seen this year. I don't know why it's necessary, but we got it. And
we had the little segment of Samoa Joe popping in as the bartender, which kind of egging on Jeff Hardy, telling everybody drink responsibly.
That's what I was saying before. That's not a heel move. That's a face move. That's a baby face move. It seems like they're doing the Straight Edge Society versus Jeff Hardy again. It's the same thing we've seen, but hey. Interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story, and obviously Samoa Joe is a perfect guy to invoke that type of emotion out of people. You saw with AJ Styles. He brought up his family. He digs in. He brings all those those deep pasts in. So now he's getting at Jeff Hardy's past. And honestly, I think they could really use it, because obviously Jeff Hardy's a guy that he owns his mistakes in the past, and he doesn't really let them bother him. So you know what? I can see them doing maybe some even more, going really in depth with Samoa Joe, maybe doing a promo in front of a car crash, something like that, really digging this in, and it could be a really good storyline.
I mean, hey, I'm digging it already. I mean, even though it's something we've seen already, it's Samoa Joe who's involved, and I love Samoa Joe, so I want to see where this goes. So again, what we were talking about before, SmackDown continues to move stories. Everything that happens is meaningful. And this was meaningful. This pushed the needle now to the next step in this rivalry. So I'm sure we'll get a match between them probably at TLC if there's enough room on the card, and we'll see where it goes. So I'm intrigued. And then in the main event, I don't really think anything else happened on SmackDown, but main event, Miz, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan comes in at the end and wrecks havoc and just beats down AJ Styles. The refs around him, can't stop him, and SmackDown goes off the air with Daniel Bryan. Good SmackDown, I thought. Way better than Raw. Continues to be good. And they're closing out the year strong. Next week, we got a rematch between Charlotte and Asuka. And something else going down next week, too. Can't think of what it is. But, yeah, I mean, good stuff from them, like I said, to close out the year.
Definitely.
All right, so, that's the programming for the week. And, this is our second to last show before the end of the year. Because, here on the campus of Farmingdale, there's finals week and everything like that, then the studio's closed for the holidays, so you won't see us until probably after New Year's, so next week will be our last show. But we want to do some year-end awards. We got a couple of categories, and, did you get a chance to really, get some of your picks behind, or should we come back to this in a little bit?
No, I got a good basis of like you said, if you want to do the top 5 matches, things. I got a good.
Okay, yeah. So First, I want to start off. I guess you want to do 5 matches first.
Yeah,
You got
we'll do
five
our-
categories here.
We'll do our top 5 matches of 2018.
Okay.
I assembled my list in no specific order. Top 5. So I have Johnny Gargano, Andrade Cien Almas from Takeover Philly. Thought that was an amazing, underrated match to even start off the year. Just seems so far ago. Then I have Ronda and Kurt Angle versus Triple H, Stephanie McMahon at
Okay,
WrestleMania.
nice pick.
Then I have, let's see, I'm trying to remember what I wrote down on my list. I had this is one that I knew you wouldn't have picked. The Seth Rollins Gauntlet match from Raw, where he wrestled on Raw
For an
for
hour?
almost over an hour.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my picks.
I remember them now. You say them, but there was no way I would even remember them. Again, it's a long year, so to have something like that in every company, really. I mean, I'm not even just talking about WWE here. I have some matches of the year, not in WWE, because it's hard to pick WWE matches. So yeah, in no specific order, I got Andrade Cien Almas versus Johnny Gargano for Takeover Philly. I think it's one of the best matches I've ever seen. I sound like a broken record by saying that, but that literally was a long main event, way longer than I thought it was going to be, and it was so good. Like, those two guys are insanely good, have chemistry through the roof. I really enjoyed it. Great main event out of American Champion. I thought that was great stuff. Probably one of the best ladder matches I've ever seen, live especially, because I don't really think I've ever seen a ladder match before then live. I have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte at Evolution. I included a women's match in there. Those two blew the roof off the place at Evolution. I thought that was the best match of the night, and those two absolutely killed it. And then I have the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks, New Japan, Strong Style Evolved. We were in attendance back in March.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. There's so many. We've seen so many matches here. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, so that was the best tag match I've ever seen, and one of the best matches I've ever seen live. So if you have a couple, do you have similar ones?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, they kind of all line up similar.
Yeah,
with
I think
so
we can
I wouldn't
agree.
stray too far away.
You can
add Marty Scurll versus Will Ospreay from the past. Was the G1 in San Francisco or no? It's, Fighting Spirit Unleashed, I think.
Yeah. They also had a match at Sakura Genesis in the beginning of the year too, in April. Kenny Omega, Ray Phoenix from Northeast Wrestling that I was in attendance for in Poughkeepsie. If you haven't seen that match, go out of your way to do so. I thought that was one of the best matches of the year. I mean, you could go on and on. I mean, I could have made probably like a top 10 or a top 20 because that's how good wrestling has been in the year of 2018. But those are my 5. Those are your 5 from WWE. But again, we could all agree to disagree on there. So, all right, those are our matches of the year. Best pay-per-view of the year, and do you want to keep it to WWE? We could give our WWE one and then our outside WWE.
You go first because I had a tough time trying to pick a WWE one because a lot of them, like I went back and if I can't remember a couple of matches, clearly wasn't that good. So and that I found myself doing that for a lot of pay-per-views this year.
It's hard to pick one for WWE because the best pay-per-view to me is one that's great from start to finish. That's like a New Japan pay-per-view. That was like All In. WWE pay-per-views have some matches that put you to sleep and make you want to go ruffle through the cabinets, go get something to eat, or go to the bathroom. It's really from start to finish. It's really difficult. But I'm going to give my favorite pay-per-view of the year as the best pay-per-view of the year. Royal Rumble in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, the Royal Rumble match was brilliantly booked. It was one of the best Rumble matches we've seen in years. Had a great winner that everybody loved. The Women's Royal Rumble, my God, exceeded every expectation that anybody ever had. I mean, that match was so good. Well booked, the right winner, everything was perfect on that. Again, the undercard, it's really tough, but I feel like those two big matches, the two Royal Rumbles, really delivered, and that was my favorite pay-per-view of the year. The only other one I was going to give the nod to was Money in the Bank. I thought that was a really solid pay-per-view as well, but I'm going to go with Royal Rumble because it was my personal favorite of the year.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree. You like I said, for those two Rumble matches and the Ronda debut, kind of make up for all the undercard matches. Like, honestly, I really couldn't. I mean, I would tell you obviously a couple of the undercard matches. I don't remember all the undercard matches from Royal Rumble, but the two Rumbles and Ronda's debut just made them even better. And two, it helped that we were there for it live. Spent the weekend in Philly, so it's a good time altogether.
It was a memorable event, and that's why I picked it because Money in the Bank was good, but. I have a tough time remembering some of the matches. Like, I remember some of them here and there, but I thought, the Royal Rumble stands out to me. So those two, would be my picks. Outside of WWE, would be probably a WWE one, right? Because feud of the year in, like, other companies, it's other companies don't really have like long-lasting feuds like the WWE, so it's kind of hard to pick. If you have one, go for it. But I'm trying to think of like in a different promotion, what would the feud of the year really be?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll give you obviously my WWE one, which I think everyone would agree with, is Gargano Ciampa.
Okay. Yeah.
And then so this one outside WWE, it's kind of a stretch, but not really. I'd say Cody and Nick Aldis.
Okay.
I'd say the whole Cody and Nick Aldis story leading up to All In, through all the 10 pounds of gold,
Against Gargano and Ciampa, but I'm just gonna go different from you and say that because I'm just totally loving this feud. I think Becky Lynch turning heel is one of the best things that ever happened all year. So I think that's my WWE feud of the year. And outside of WWE, I'm gonna go with, how about the Bullet Club and the Elite? How about like Cody and Kenny and the Bucks and all that drama? I mean, you forget that happened earlier on in the year because it feels like this year so much happened. I feel like that happened like last year.
Yeah.
But that was I was intrigued throughout the whole entire time. That was a long-lasting couple of months where all those guys were feuding. There was so much tension. So I'm gonna say all those guys, feuding against each other. Especially the Young Bucks, Golden Lovers, and Cody and Kenny having these matches. I think that was the feud of the year outside.
Yeah, really, when you do something like this, it makes you realize how long this year actually
Well, that's
was.
what I'm saying.
How much
Yeah.
happened. I mean, a guy like I said, the Bucks versus Kenny and the Gold. I know forever ago, but like it really wasn't. It was
I know. So the next category I have, and this is a tough one. I really don't know who I'm going to pick. Wrestler of the year. It's just tough. It really is tough. I mean, who had a great year?
I mean, I'm just gonna go out and say Cody. It's the easy answer because in WWE, wrestlers have highs and lows. I mean, Seth Rollins had a huge high, but then went really low.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard to pick one. So obviously Cody has been riding high literally ever since he debuted in the Indies. But now this year even better with All In, winning the IWGP US title, winning the NWA title. I mean, he's just skyrocketing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna outside WWE. I think it has to be Cody because how much he's done anything since he won the title. So, I mean, yeah, it's really, really hard off the top of my head. And then in WWE, like you said, it's tough because they go in and out. But I guess you could say Becky Lynch, Wrestler of the Year. I mean,
yeah, even though her year only
started SummerSlam. Yeah, so I mean, Brock was the champion, Universal champ for half the year. I guess you could say AJ Styles, right? I mean, he held the WWE title for half the year. I mean,
you could argue that because he was a champion, but even though didn't really do much with the second reign, but I mean,
he didn't do much, but he still delivered every time. He was still the longest reigning champion.
It's hard because wrestlers go in and out. They have their highs are high and their lows are low. So it's hard to pick that.
It's really tough. And breakout star of the year. That is tough too.
Yeah,
on the Indies, my breakout star of the year is Bandito.
Bandito,
from he's not even from a promotion. Honestly, he's all over the place. He was at All In.
Wasn't he a CMLL guy?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's where he came from. Doing some great things in PWG. I mean, his name is everywhere now. I think he's gonna have a big 2019. So Bandito is my indie pick, and my WWE pick. I mean, again, do we give it to Becky Lynch again? I mean, she broke out in this year more than she has in 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's relevant again.
When you think of break, I think of someone kind of debuting.
Yeah.
But I really can't think of anybody that has debuted recently that's made such an. I mean, I guess you can say Undisputed Era. I mean, all four of them. I mean, the three of them started in the year. Then the addition of Roddy Strong in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no. Yeah, Chicago. But I mean,
like I said, last show of the year next week, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk to with TLC and Final Battle and stuff, so I figured we'd just do it this week, and slow week anyways. So it came back and instantly made an impact, aligning, and he's, just this time around, I think this is for real. I think they're invested in him. I think he's a focal point on Raw. He should be the top champion on Raw. He's that damn good. I think 2019 is going to be the year of Drew McIntyre, and yes, I think from last week and this past weekend leading up to today's show. So over the weekend, WWE announced that NXT TakeOver Brooklyn or TakeOver New York Supercard, but now with the news of the Elite guys not being in Ring of Honor, we kind of doubted how good the show was going to be. We were planning on buying an NXT ticket either way. But now our decision gets a lot easier because now we can attend both, not have to worry about which show to go to or going to one and then going to the other. Sit back, relax, enjoy one on Friday, one on Saturday, and it's going to be one hell of a weekend. I couldn't have been happier about the news.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic because, like I said before, literally the night before they announced it, me and Ryan were making plans or just planning possibly going to NXT and then leaving, hopping on the subway, heading downtown to Madison Square Garden.
Sell out NXT TakeOver. This could have been a conflict last year too, and they weren't scared of it. They didn't move the date. They didn't think they couldn't sell out. They did sell out. Both shows still did. So I don't think so. I think it's a bigger picture here. And Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer leaked out the news that possibly The Rock going into the Hall of Fame, he can only be available on that Saturday, which is why they had to move it. And that's a good enough reason to move the show. If The Rock can only be available on that one day, obviously he's a busy man. It makes a ton of sense. I think there's more to it than just that. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we should be getting a Hall of Fame announcement
sometime in January.
Sometime next month because they like to announce the headliner before tickets go on sale to boost sales.
Yeah, so I'm not complaining about the move by any means. So, hey, whatever. People can love it. People can hate it. I am definitely not complaining, and you're not either.
Yep.
A couple of other things that I'll just rattle off here. We can give quick thoughts on them because we only have a little bit left on the show. 2 Evolve cards came out, both for New York Evolve 117 and 118 in Queens, New York on December 15th, and Deer Park, New York on December 16th. Roderick Strong coming to Evolve. Once again, he'll be challenging Fabian Eichner, the current champion, and Austin Theory. Triple threat match at La Boom. For Evolve 117, which is great. And then he's facing Darby Allin the next night, which I think is really cool. Of course, you got Cassius Ohno, the Street Profits on those shows, as well as the champion Fabian Eichner. So, I mean, NXT show or an Evolve show, it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy for us because if any of you are locals to the Long Island area, you've probably been to an NYWC show in Deer Park at the Sportatorium and think that we used to go to those shows all the time. Now, Roderick Strong and a current NXT Tag Team Champion is going to be wrestling in that building. I mean, it really is crazy to think, how much of, this, partnership Evolve has with WWE and, what stars are going to be there next. Obviously, we saw Velveteen Dream in Queens a couple
Indies. He beats Masato Yoshino at the Dragon Gate event the other day. Ospreay versus Pac finally announced for Rev Pro, I believe in February, so that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a dream match, so definitely got to check that out. I was waiting for that to happen. Young Bucks and Revival tweeting at each other. The Revival actually responding to the Young Bucks during Monday Night Raw. I don't know how well received that was backstage, but hey, either way, it's cool to see. This gives you maybe a little teaser of the Revival leaving to go to AEW and face the Young Bucks.
I really hope that the Revival has in mind a plan right now that they don't like what they're doing. I mean, how could they like what they're doing? Losing to Lucha House Party every single week. Not getting the titles, not getting the respect they deserve. I hope that deep down there is a partnership or messages going back and forth with the Bucks and, Cody being like, look, we want out. And, if you guys are really serious about doing this company, we'll join. And I think that'd be a great place for them to go.
Absolutely. A couple of other things really fast. ROH signs Brody King and PCO, so they're stacking up their roster. It's great to see because they're going to lose the Elite. It's the final battle next week. Silas Young re-signed with ROH too. Props to him for not giving in and going to WWE. Alexa Bliss is cleared for in-ring action, so her return is imminent. Shane Strickland also could be on his way to WWE. We could dive into some more of that next week. On next week's show, we got Ring of Honor Final Battle preview and predictions, as well as WWE TLC in our final show of 2018. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, as always, this week on the Wrestling Radar on YouTube Live or on the Ram Nation Radio app, so download that every single week to listen to us here. We'll see you next week, same time, same place, here on Ram Nation Radio. We out.